images of the
Present moment. Yeah.
Hi, Sparkles.
Hi, Sparkle.
Hi.
Gwendolyn.
I'm Jeannie.
I'm Jevona.
So nice to see you all.
Sparkle.
Sparkles.
Yummy. I love
What's
our
sparkling
music.
in your world, girls?
Mmm. Should we take a moment and go
Yes.
into the present moment of now and see what sparkles up?
Mm.
Take a big deep breath in, slide down that spiral slide, water slide if you prefer, from your head to your heart. Take another breath in, get present, feel the love bubbling up, the love you are bubbling up.
Asking all our guides and angels to join us.
Being so present and so available. Nothing else here but here and now.
Like you feel your sparkles from here.
Mm-mm-mm. No time,
Ooh.
no space, just now.
So I got a new story. I have a girlfriend from my mediumship group. She had some extra ribbons. And so she sent me, so I'm part of this Mavis Patilla program for the mediumship, and she was a really special teacher. And she's the reason why I joined the program. So these are the ribbons. They got all these different colors. And the reason for the ribbons is so that, just to close your eyes and get, to feel the colors and try to get them, and just to kind of intuitively know, like for psychic readings, and, to get to know the colors. And so when she sent them to me, she had,
Do you mean by
um,
feel, Jevona? Know them by how
yeah,
they feel with your eyes
yeah,
closed?
just feeling them, intuitively feel what color they are without looking.
Wow.
So kind of getting to know different colors, so that when I do readings, I can intuitively feel colors that are around. Does that make
Seeing the
sense?
colors without your eyesight.
So
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. So
Ah,
playing with the colors. Yeah. And she seen our show, Sparkle Show, because I shared it with her. And she had, I guess, when she sent me this box, the top part of it, she sent me this little boa. And she said, I was in this hotel and I saw this boa, and it made me think of us, like our show. So she sent it to me. And
sparkles.
The sparkly
yeah,
boa, of course.
the Sparkle Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's us. So it's part of our
Sure.
show. And
Love it.
then and so it was interesting this morning, as I was like, still asleep and dreamland. But I was like, I guess waking up, and I had Mavis Patilla there talking to me and saying about, talking about these ribbons. And when I got this gift, it was like just a couple days ago. So it was just cool that it was like she was telling me, keep practicing with the ribbons and feeling into them, and that, you're at the right place, and just that, mediumship was my path, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just the way that she was talking just felt like this pure love. It was like this feeling of knowing like everything is perfect. And I just melted in this, like, it's like that home feeling, when you're just, nothing is wrong. And it was just this feeling. And when I woke up, it was kind of like what's real? I was dreaming, like, she's here now. And it was like she was telling me this, this pure wisdom from her. And it was just like she was here, as if
And
she
this is someone that's
hadn't passed away.
made her
Yeah.
transition, right?
Yeah. Like if she was, just as soon as I joined, I felt like when I started watching some of her inspired speaking, and I knew she was a medium, and then I was just drawn to how she would speak, and I would call things woohoo or magic. And she's very like structure and, spiritual. She's from the UK, so she's all about certain things. but when she started speaking, I was like, that's me, that's me, that's me. And I just like, I would just, I don't know, it would just make me feel so good listening to her words. And I was like, okay, I got to follow whatever she's doing. So then I found myself in her program. And then after a couple of months, she got sick and transitioned. And but I still felt her pull, and I still felt her like, kind of almost like my grandma telling me like, okay, get to class, this is you. Like, so even though I say it's woohoo, it still felt like it was still structure or like home to me. So
Mm,
yeah, I just thought that was neat.
that's so beautiful.
Have you
Mm-hmm.
had that happen to you before? I'm sure you have. I'm sure both of you have.
Well, I had a love of my life. He was a very, very fun. I believe he was an ascended master, but in a really like society would look on him as the lowest of the low. He was the most handsome creature I've ever laid eyes on, and was a terrible junkie of methamphetamine and died of it a couple of years ago. But and he was 17 years younger. There's a whole magic story, but one of the things that he was really into was making this game, this global game where people would do this worldwide scavenger hunt, and they would go to this country and try to do this and find this, and then they would go over to here, and there would be this prize at the end of the game, and there would be all this intrigue and excitement. And of course, it never happened because he was Aries. He never wanted to finish anything. But then I hear Michelle, who's now in our same Michelle that was on the show number 6 and 7, was, she's in Ireland. And what's she talking about? Scavenger hunts. And I just thought he's so excited. He feels very much with me all the time. I'll always love him. But anyway, like that, it's just
It's like they're
fun.
right here. There is no veil between
Yes.
them. They're
Yeah.
just here. Just
Yeah.
maybe not be in the physical form, but they're fully, completely here. Their energy, their love, their,
It's like
I
opening to
love
that
that.
is so joyous, you
And
know?
the more you open to it, like I always, come join me in my drive, come join me when I'm dancing, come join me with
Mhm.
anything. And then I feel the tingles on my back. And I just,
Mm.
it's just tuning in and knowing that it's just like, wow, like it just brings you to a different level, right?
Yeah. It's actually more joyous than when they were in physical. It's even more because it's
Yes.
so magical,
Yeah.
like you can feel them. Like I feel like this force field around my hands right now, and I know
Mm.
that's him.
As we're speaking, right? They're here, they're
Yeah.
tingling,
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
love
like,
that. I love that. And the scavenger hunt, I was saying scavenger hunt because I feel like I'm on that with the universe. Like that's the game that I'm playing but I'm calling it a treasure hunt because we're in the kingdom. So it must be a treasure hunt.
Of
So I
course.
love his game and it's definitely going on for sure. Um, that is so much fun. But
Right?
um,
Do
I
you have any
wanna
stories, Jeannie?
I I have a whole lot of stories, and I want to go back to the ribbons that Jevona brought forward because the Course in Miracles talks about our perception and how we can't possibly judge something because we're not seeing the whole of it. We're only seeing
Mhm.
0.01% of all of creation, and it's all what we're seeing is what we believe and expect. And what we believe is things die. And what we believe is that they're no longer here, right? That's what we've been told this whole time. And Jevona is breaking that paradigm. And this is one of the tools they use to help re-engage the intuition that we're all born with, but some of us shut it down, right? So to re-engage that into a gift that we're born with is to see without our eyes, to actually engage what they call the third eye and see beyond the what we're I don't even want to say limited because it's only limited how we're using it, how we're taught to use our eyes.
Mhm.
It's only, we can only see what we believe and expect. And we expect that we're looking at something with our eyes. And so if we
I have a
can't
question,
see
Jamie.
something, yeah.
Do you, and this is for you too, Jevona, because when I see things, I see it through my heart. I don't see it through my third eye. So I'm curious.
Oh, that's really fun, because you know what? I can see it through my hands, which are an extension of your heart. Because when I was doing my Reiki, I would put my hands over whoever, an animal or person, or even just a tree or whatever it was, whatever being it was, and I would not even place my hands right on them, but like about a half an inch or an inch apart, and I could see with my hands. And this is, so my friend reminded me of this. It was a year or two ago that I found, I think there's a book out, there's a movie out, and there's a school that people go to, and there's one in Germany, and I think there's one in Utah. And people actually go, they blindfold them, they teach them how to see with every part of their body and not relying on their eyes. And they're able to read books blindfolded. So this is, so if we think about our limited perception of what we've been told is happening, told is true, and it's not. Because we can see, you can see with your heart, I can see with my hands, and this school is teaching people how to see with their entire bodies, and their entire beingness is really what it is. It's not even the physical body, it's actually encompassing that the beingness you are, and the reality that you're creating around you. And so there's a beautiful movie called Solaris with George Clooney, and a teacher of mine, Tom Kieran, brings this movie up all the time. And George Clooney supposedly had lost his wife to suicide years before, and he goes and meets her on this spacecraft or something like that, and she's there, and he's like living with her and being with her and all this stuff. And he goes, "Are you dead, or am I dead, or what?" And she goes, "We don't need to think like that anymore." And so I just want to say, like, I don't know, but I'm just staying in the magic of the unknown, and no longer buying in to this whole belief that we've all bought into about people being gone. They're here now, because all time is now and everything exists right here and now. And are we not able to see them because we don't believe or expect to see them? Or is it what's, like
whatever reality you live in, right? Whatever you're open to, staying
exactly
open and allowing.
Because I've felt, okay, so then this is the story. So I felt, I mean, totally, I hear them, I feel them. And I want to tell you a story about my friend who was, one of her loves is she loves to be an interior designer, and a woman
I
hired
think we
her.
have to save that one for next time. I think we're out of time, guys. Can you make it short?
Yeah. So anyways, she was designing this old farmhouse from the 1800s. She loved it, loved it, loved it. And she went to bed, and she woke up. Somebody had tucked her in. The woman who used to own the house from the 1800s had tucked her in, because she had seen her earlier in the day, but she was just in her bliss and in her love, sending out love and everything. She woke up and somebody had tucked her in.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, I got chills. Woo.
Yeah. So just stay in the unknown. Don't keep believing the old beliefs that
that's
don't
amazing.
vibe. If everything's here now, let's just
that
let
reminds
it
me of
flow.
a story, but I'll save it for our next one. It's to do with my daughter and her grandpa. No, it's not long, but
We
maybe
may
we'll
have
save
to
it for
go
the
a
next
little
one.
bit longer on this episode just because this
Yeah,
is such a
yeah.
juicy topic. And it's like, we don't need to we don't need to think that way anymore. So share your story. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
okay.
ahead. Yes.
So when my daughter had lived in Nebraska, and she had also her grandpa, she hadn't seen him for 3 or 4 years because she was, with her immigration and everything, she couldn't come back. And he was like her rock for like all her young years and everything. Like he was her rock, like her grandpa. Anyways, we found out he had, liver cancer, and he ended up going fast, and it devastated her. And she ended up having like a baby and stuff. And she really wanted him to meet the baby and her great grandson. And then I had traveled there, and when I was there, I guess he was then in hospice, and he was going fast. And all of a sudden there was like this, she went to bed, or she slept, and then she got up in the morning and she went back to sleep. And she came out and she said to me, I had a dream that grandpa, um, I was in the hospital room with him, and he was saying, he met Zathrian, and I got to see him, I got to hug him, and it felt so real. And then, she was telling me this whole story about him being there, and she just felt so loved, and it was just all this story. And as soon as she told me that story, I was sitting in the kitchen and I thought, oh, he passed. Like that was my first feeling, like he passed, but he visited her on the way, like through. And that was just my thought. And then a couple hours later, her dad phoned her and said grandpa had passed that morning. And so I was like, so exactly what I thought, that he, as he was transitioning, or that, whether we could say it transitioned, but she had this whole feeling of, he got to meet Zathrian, they got to see each other, they hugged, and then
Was it
she
because
woke
of
up.
COVID she wasn't allowed to be in the room?
No, she
She
was
was
in
in a different
Nebraska.
country.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he
she
was in
was. Oh, I
Canada.
see. He was. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought he was in Nebraska. Sorry.
No, he was
But
no, he's in Canada, and she could come, but she was like, it was just like, but I had that consciousness thought, like, it was. I said to her, I'm like, I said to her, I'm like, she's like, I don't, this is what happened. I don't know if it's true. And I'm like, that's for real. He got to see you. You're the one who we got to see, like.
so I want to interject something just as a, so there's no time or space, and her love and his love, like the love doesn't see time and space. So
Yes.
that visit was true.
Yes.
Right? And that visit is true because there's no time or space. The moment you have the awareness, that's the beauty of imagination and what we call pretending or imagination. It's a reality that exists that we're getting privy to.
Yeah,
and
it's a
so
timeline.
that in her love,
it's like the real home. It's like the real home.
They did meet. They did meet in person and have that with Zathrian.
I know, my heart was so warm, and I was just like, because I felt so bad that she, was feeling this way, but I was just like, Marissa, you got to trust that was for real.
That they did this. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I love it. The power of love. The power of love.
Yeah. You guys ready to wrap it up on this power
possible.
of love?
Everything's possible.
Anything's possible if you believe.
That was amazing. Thanks for stopping me too and keeping going.
You shine so bright, you sparkle, you are the light. You shine so bright, you sparkle, 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 sparkle.
Love you, Sparkles.
Love you.
Love you.
Mm.
Do you love heart?